Hello, my name is Keith Stone. I am a 50-something person from Grand Blanc, Michigan. Um, and I'm going to tell you a story about hope, faith, and optimism. And you probably think, well, great, I got some guru that's going to tell me how to live my life. I don't need that. But what if I told you, I'm going to tell you that story as a quadriplegic. Um, Today it's October of 2018 today. My accident was in August of 2015. And what I want to do today is just give you a quick synopsis of my journey so far, and we will get into details in future videos. I'll try to tell my story chronologically, but occasionally we'll have interviews with people, and that might, go back in history a little bit. But that's okay because you already have been introduced to them and you'll know them. I was on a golf trip and I was injured when my golf cart tipped over. I was in Harbor Springs, Michigan, which is about 3.5 hours north of here. I was taken to Petoskey Hospital, and I was diagnosed with a broken neck at C4, C5. C4, C5 is very high up in the neck. The higher your spinal cord injury is, the worse off you are. A lot of people you see, what's it between a quadriplegic and a paraplegic? Well, I couldn't use my arms or my legs. You see a paraplegic, you might see somebody in a wheelchair, pushing their wheelchair pretty good. That's because their upper body works. But right from the beginning, I was in the intensive care unit for 9 days at a hospital in Petoskey, where, of course, they took great care of me. I had a great surgeon. But right when I first woke up, my family was at my side, and my wife, Sarah, who will turn out to be the real star of this story in the future. But she was there, and we immediately, in the best way that we could communicate, we said, we're going to make this a positive. I can truly tell you, there's only been a couple times when I was down, but even those weren't necessarily related to my injury. So, and that had a lot to do with my faith. I'll get into it in future episodes, but God was with me that day, and we were always very optimistic, and I always had hope that I would get better, and I am getting better. But the quick story, which isn't being so quick, is I was at the hospital for 9 days in intensive care. Well, you can't stay in an intensive care unit forever. So I was stabilized there, and we had to find a rehabilitation hospital. I was taken to a hospital called Mary Free Bed in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which was about a 2.5 hour trip south from there. They took me by ambulance. I was there for 6.5 months, which was much longer than they anticipated me being there, but that was all for a good reason. It was because I was improving. So I got there in around August 25th, and I was discharged March 3rd. And I came home to a brand new home, and we'll talk about that later. And I had to find outpatient therapy, and we did that. I was at a outpatient, very fortunate, right here in Grand Blanc, about probably 2 miles away. Sarah, my wife, and my father, Jack, had done some research on a couple of places, and they decided this was the best place for me. It was called STAR, Strength Training and Rehabilitation. There are rehabilitation places like you hear about. People get hip surgery and that's totally different than what this is. This place specialized in neuro cases, which was what I had, and in maybe people with prosthetic legs, things like that, working on that. I spent a couple of years at Star, and then I went to Florida for a month because my parents lived there, and we discovered another therapy place down there that had a completely different philosophy from Star, and I felt that I was getting a lot out of it. And so when we came home, we thought, well, we need to find a place more like what I was working at in Florida. So we looked around again, and one of the places that Sarah and my dad had rejected the first time around, we revisited, and it's called Level 11. I started there in March, and I'm gaining so much strength every day. But we'll meet all those characters from there. But so we're going to follow my journey. I will post old videos that we have, talk about my story, and then as we go along, we'll follow the story. My original plan was to write a book, and I wrote about 3 chapters, but this is the video age, and I'm not going to lie to you, writing a book is hard. So this is a little bit easier just to vocalize my story. And plus then I have to find a publisher, and then how do I get people to read my story? So I think this is an easier way to spread the word. I talk in front of groups, and I'm told I'm inspirational. You're such an inspiration, Keith, they tell me. And before my accident, I never understood that. But if people tell me that, why would they lie? So I want to get my story out to inspire you, and so that will be the point. I look forward to talking to you in the future. And once again, it is the Optimistic Paraplegic, and I will talk to you soon.